Hello, everybody. It's no surprise that we are in a bit of a holding pattern until the next update, which is why I've slowed down the content a bit here on YouTube. I'd rather put out quality over quantity, you know? The reason I say all this is because I've been consuming Risk of Rain 2 content more than producing it, browsing Reddit, the official Discord, and occasionally stopping by other streams. And man, oh man, do I see this one specific topic crop up over and over, progressing the early stages. I'm talking stuff like, hi, new player here, wondering what the most optimal time to leave a stage is, and it being answered in polarizing ways with either side receiving support. Some people are adamant that rushing the earlier stages is futile because you are at a bigger risk of dying, while others claim the opposite. If you've been watching my stuff for a while, you know where my opinions lie in this matter, but I'm not here to rehash any of the stuff I've gone over in the past. I'm here to give an answer, and that is go as fast as possible. Emphasis on the as possible part because that phrase colloquial means to literally ignore all other components and only focus on time. That is not what I'm saying here. When I say as fast as possible, I'm saying go as fast as your current situation allows. Big difference. If you've seen the video which I cover the math behind the difficulty scaling and time, you'd know that the two most important factors in what your current difficulty is in a given run are the number of stages you've completed and the time you've taken to complete them.
But Woolie, wouldn't that mean that intentionally taking your time on a stage would also be viable because you're completing less stages in the same time and thus the difficulty is scaling as fast, therefore it won't be as hard?
Yes, but actually no. Now, at this point in the video, I was going to actually use the formulas on the wiki for difficulty scaling, director spawns, and more to determine the precise time you should leave a stage, like literally down to the second, so that we would all have a concrete number to go off. But once I started, I quickly realized that it was pointless. The formulas can calculate everything except for one very important factor: RNG. Whether you like it or not, a huge chunk of how well your run is doing is dictated and only dictated by your RNG. Now, obviously, things like your experience on the Survivor, how well you can maneuver the map to find the teleporter, and more of these personal playstyle things also dictate how well your run is doing. But if you're having some bad RNG, your overall experience level simply means you'll be able to pad out the run for a few minutes longer than someone who has less experience. Once you get a few more stages in, you're going to be just as dead as the next person. And the best solution to dealing with bad RNG by far is to go fast. Think about it like this. You have no control over what items are going to pop out of the chest or which multi-shops will spawn. You are just as likely to pull a pair of crit glasses as you are a medkit. Now, yes, the more items you buy in general will naturally lead to more good items overall, but as RNG dictates, you'll get just as many bad ones. You may have a few great runs in a row, log off for the day, boot it up again, and the next one get totally shafted. Now, my point is this: RNG is arguably the most important factor of a good run, and good can be defined by the items you receive, the length of the run, whatever you want. You have no control over your RNG, but you do have control of how much it affects you. If I enter stage 3 at 9 minutes with nothing but fungus, medkits, red whips, and chrono baubles, I can still salvage the run if my RNG starts popping off because the time is still low enough that my damage gained from simply leveling up is enough to carry me. Now, take that same scenario, but arrive at 15 minutes instead of 9. Remember, you have essentially no damage items. While it still is possible to clear the stage, it will take significantly longer than before due to the monster scaling up. And even with the same level of pop-off of your RNG, your next stage will be exponentially harder, and the vicious cycle of difficulty scaling will continue until you just can't keep up any longer. All of this to say, the longer you take on a stage, the more you are relying on RNG to carry you. I'm not saying you can't get good runs by full clearing the first loop, averaging about 7 minutes per stage. I'm saying that pulling that off requires some nasty RNG. Why in the world would you choose a playstyle that places more elements out of your control rather than in it? And that is why you want to go as fast as possible. You are heavily diminishing the impact RNG has in the early game and thus setting yourself up for the best possible run overall. Again, as I said in the beginning of the video, there are many factors that play into how well your run will turn out. Moving efficiently, meaning knowing which area of the stages to skip, when to buy items, etc., will have just as much a role as how well you could point and shoot at the enemies. But RNG is a different beast entirely, and there's no denying that its influence is just as prevalent, if not more so, than those other factors. Did this information help you? Do you have differing thoughts on the matter? Leave a like or dislike on the video to let me know how you feel. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts in more detail, so consider leaving a comment down below as well. I read them all, I promise. You can check my stream out over at twitch.tv/WoolieGaming, and can also join our Discord server for a place to talk Risk of Rain 2, play with others, and more. Thank you for watching.